"What are you doing here?" he whispered, pulling her aside. She smiled calmly and said, "I should ask you the same. But since we're asking questions, why did you bring your girlfriend to my man's house?" 8 years earlier, Chuka was the kind of guy people turned to look at twice. Tall, smooth-skinned, always neat. He ran a growing logistics company and had just started making good money. Sandra met him at a friend's wedding. She was 23, just like him. Beautiful, smart, full of life. They hit it off quickly. Dates turned to sleepovers, and soon she knew everything about him, except his family. "Why haven't I met your people?" she once asked after 5 years together. "My dad's always busy," he said. "You'll meet them when the time is right." She waited. Another year passed. Then 2. And still nothing. One morning, Sandra was frying plantain when she placed the plate in front of him and said, "Chuka, it's been over 8 years. What are we doing?" He wiped his hands slowly with a napkin. "Sandy, you know I love you," he said. "But I'm not ready for marriage yet. I just need more time." "More time?" she asked, her eyes narrowing. "What exactly are you waiting for?" "I just need to get some things in place." She didn't argue. She just nodded. But from that day, something in her heart cracked. 2 months later, she saw the girl's picture on his WhatsApp. A light-skinned girl in her early 20s, soft smile, full curves, and those annoying couple captions. Sandra kept quiet. She didn't fight him. She didn't cry in front of him. But every time she served his food, she looked at the bottle of rat poison under the sink. "He's not worth it," she always whispered to herself. "But he will pay." She knew his father's name, Chief Kenneth, and had seen his face in framed photos in Chuka's living room. A well-known businessman. Rich. Always on the news. She started researching where he shopped, the gym he used, his regular weekend hangouts. One Saturday, she accidentally bumped into him at the wine section in a high-end supermarket in Lekki. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," she said, smiling politely as she picked up the bottle they both reached for. Chief Kenneth chuckled. "No harm done. Good taste, I must say." From there, it became regular coincidences. She was always charming, well-spoken, soft but confident. After 4 months of random meetups, brunch invitations, and subtle flirtation, he asked her out. She said yes. 2 months later, they were in his house one night, wine glasses half full. He looked at her and said, "You know, my son is finally bringing home the girl he wants to marry." Sandra paused. Her stomach tightened. "Oh, that's sweet," she said, forcing a smile. "Yeah. And I'd love for him to meet the woman who's made me happy these past few months too." She nodded. But her mind raced. What if he brings me? Or, what if he brings the girl in the picture? 2 days before the lunch, she asked Chuka, "Babe, let's go out this Sunday. Let's just hang out, like old times." He checked his phone and sighed. "Can't. I'm traveling for work. I'll be gone till Wednesday." That was all the confirmation she needed. She arrived at Chief Kenneth's mansion in Victoria Garden City wearing a simple but elegant gown. Her makeup was soft. She looked beautiful and calm. They were already seated at the dining table when the gate opened again. Chuka walked in, holding hands with his young, pretty girlfriend. He was laughing until he looked up and saw her. His smile dropped. His steps slowed. Sandra didn't flinch. She greeted him politely, hugged his dad, and sat beside him like the good girlfriend she now was. They ate in silence, except for the usual small talk. But the tension in Chuka's eyes was loud. After the meal, he pulled her aside. "What are you doing here?" he hissed. "I should ask you the same," she replied, calm as ever. "This is my man's house." "What? You heard me." I'm with your dad now. Chuka clenched his jaw. You're sick? No, she said. I'm hurt. Or at least, I was. 8 years, Chuka. I gave you everything. You tossed me like trash. I wanted to ruin you. But your father is kind. He sees me. You planned this. Call it what you want, she shrugged. But I'm not the one who lied. He stood there, speechless. I didn't poison your food, Chuka, she said quietly, walking past him. But this feels better. Absolutely. Here's a longer, satisfying ending that gives Sandra the peace she deserves, and leaves Chuka in a bitter, quiet corner. Chuka stood in the hallway long after Sandra had walked away. His heart pounded, his mouth dry. He didn't know what was worse, the fact that Sandra had outplayed him, or that he couldn't say a word about it to his father. Chief Kenneth hadn't looked that happy in years. Not since his wife, Chuka's mother, died of cancer. The old man had turned cold for a long time, barely smiled, barely laughed. But with Sandra, he had changed. He laughed more, wore brighter clothes, even started going out again. That day after lunch, Chief Kenneth clapped his son on the back. You did well, son, he said. That girl you brought, she's beautiful. But let me tell you, this woman here, he turned to Sandra and held her hand, this woman has brought light back into my life. Sandra smiled softly. Thank you, sir. No. Call me Kenny like you always do, he said, laughing. Chuka watched it all, swallowing bitterness like sour medicine. He wanted to tell his father the truth. That Sandra used to be his girl. That they had history. That this woman sitting like an angel had once almost poisoned him. But he couldn't. He had never even introduced Sandra to his father. Not once in 8 years. She had been good enough to cook for him, sleep with him, wait on him, but never good enough to meet his family. Now look. She was in his father's mansion. Wearing gold jewelry his father bought her. Sitting pretty beside the same man who had once won Chuka. If you ever find a woman that gives you peace, never let her go. He let her go. Now she was giving that peace to someone else. Weeks passed, Chuka tried to act normal. He didn't tell his girlfriend anything. How could he? How do you tell someone that your ex is now your stepmother in the making? Sandra, on the other hand, settled in perfectly. She was kind to Chief Kenneth's staff. She helped him reorganize his company charity programs. People started whispering about how the man had come alive again. She wasn't pretending anymore. What started as revenge had turned into something real. Chief Kenneth treated her like a queen. Not because she demanded it, but because he chose to. One night, after a quiet dinner, he held her hands across the table. I don't know what I did to deserve you, Sandra. But thank you for coming into my life. Tears welled in her eyes. And for the first time, she let go of the past. She let go of 8 years of waiting. 8 years of begging for love. 8 years of being hidden. As for Chuka, he kept his mouth shut. He watched from the sidelines. And the worst part, no one would believe him even if he spoke. Because no one had seen his father this happy in over 20 years. And that, more than anything else, was the real punishment. At a quiet family event, Sandra stood beside Chief Kenneth, greeting guests. She looked elegant, at peace. Chuka walked past her with his new girlfriend. He nodded stiffly. Sandra looked at him, smiled sweetly, and said, Good evening, son. Chuka's girlfriend turned to him in surprise. Did she just call you? Let's go, Chuka said, pulling her hand quickly. And that was the last word between them. Sandra turned back to the guests, laughing with ease, her arms tucked into the warm embrace of the only man who ever truly saw her.